Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2025 tomato taste test video. So 2025 has been an interesting year for me. I recently moved from southeast Wisconsin to central Wisconsin, and I ended up moving at the end of May, so I did not get a chance to start any of my own tomatoes. And to make matters worse, I had to shop for tomato plants after Memorial Day. So I was at the mercy of whatever was left, and I had a hard time finding tomato plants. But I did manage to get some tomatoes, and I thought, even though these are from garden centers and nurseries, I thought I would still do a tomato taste test video, because I bet you there's a few of you out there who haven't grown these tomatoes in a long time. So let's do small fruited tomatoes first. First one up, the smallest, and I don't know why I've never grown these before. You see that? Sweet 100s. These are good tomatoes. So I don't know if you can see these. They're not real big. These are really good tomatoes. They have a really good sweetness to them, and I don't know, do you want me to cut this in half? I think they're the perfect blend of sweet and acidic. They do have a thicker skin, but they do crack. So even though the skins are a little chewy, they are cracking. Gotta eat the rest of that one. My favorite small tomato is the Brandy Sweet Plum. It's probably Brandy Sweet Plum? Yeah. It's probably about the size of a Juliet tomato. And these ones taste a lot like Brandy Sweet Plum. So yeah. Would I grow them again? Absolutely, I would grow them again. I'm not overwhelmed by them, like some cherry tomatoes. You're just overwhelmed by them. These ones, I'm not real overwhelmed by them, so they're pretty good. Okay, the next tomato is just called Yellow Pear. And they are, go away mosquitoes, about that size. Now these ones were terrible at the beginning of the season. Come on camera, focus. Can't see that. But the same wall size as the Sweet 100s. They have not improved as the season has gone along. There's no flavor. It's like, okay, I shouldn't say that. There's a little bit of flavor, but they're almost like you want to spit them out. That's how bad they are. I'm going to pull this plant out. So as soon as this video is done, this plant is coming out. So yeah, I would never get them again. That was a waste of $4.25 or however much I paid for it. All right, last one. Get a good one here, is Juliet. Now, Juliet I've grown before, and I grabbed this tomato plant because I knew it grows consistently good tomatoes. So Juliet is basically a little Roma tomato. That's basically what it is. It's a hybrid, thick walls, not a lot of seeds. The skins are very chewy and tough. So, but if you like a tomato that when you slice it, like if you like to dice tomatoes really small for a salad or whatever, and have it hold its shape, this is a really good one for that. Good balanced tomato taste, more acidic than sweet. It's just a good little salad tomato. So that one is, it's one if you want a sure bet, it's a hybrid tomato, but if you want a sure bet for that size tomato, then I would grow Juliet. The next plant up is Rutgers. I haven't grown this one in quite a few years. I got this one from Home Depot. This is a Bonnie's plant. It's a determinate. So this plant produces a lot of big tomatoes. Almost all of my plants have the yellow shoulders on them for some reason. I don't think it's sun scald. I don't know. So we get some like that. But I have 4 of these plants. If you were gonna can tomatoes, this would be a really good plant to can for canning tomatoes. It produces a lot of fruit. It sets everything, like right now, there's tons of ripe fruit on the plant. And so it would be really good as a canning tomato. There's the inside. A lot of flesh in there. I made salsa out of these. It was really good. My thing this year is to make fresh salsa. I've been doing that with the tomatoes. Very good tasting. The sweetness hits me first. Very low acidity. A little bit of fruitiness in there. Just a really good tomato. It's a really good tomato. Big tomato flavor in that one. So yeah, it's really good. The skin is, you can tell it's a little thicker skin, but it's not like the Juliet where it's really hard to chew. They don't crack, which is nice. But like I said, all of mine had yellow shoulders. I don't know if they're supposed to. I guess there's a few over there that don't have yellow shoulders. So yeah, this one looks like strawberry oxheart. So that's a very good tomato. I would definitely grow that one again instead of a canning tomato. I mean, canning tomatoes are fine, but I don't know. I think they just don't have the flavor that something like this does. But yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Okay, next one is Mr. Stripey. I gotta tell you, I've grown Mr. Stripey. These don't look at all like Mr. Stripey. These tomatoes are almost all like this. I did not get one blemish-free tomato from the plant. This is one of those plants I'm just gonna pull out because they're just, I don't know, they're a bad tomato. They didn't grow well. Now granted, my garden isn't the ideal conditions this year. They're pretty. So Mr. Stripey is supposed to have yellow and orange stripes on it. Smells good. Very strong tomato flavor. Not sweet at all. The first thing that hits me right here is the acidicness. Is that a word? Acidicness? It is now of the tomato. If that is a Mr. Stripey, which I don't think it is, it's a burpee one. Burpee. It says heirloom tomato. It acts like an heirloom tomato. It's like temperamental, like an heirloom tomato. So that one, would I grow it again? I mean, I've grown it and they were beautiful tomatoes. I don't know if I would grow them again from Home Depot. They're really good tasting tomatoes. I think part of the problem here is we either had not enough water or too much water. So we kind of got, like, this wasn't ideal growing conditions, because I'm still learning about the soil and everything. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next year. Okay, that was Mr. Stripe. Okay, this next one is Cherokee Purple. I've had a really hard time getting these tomatoes to ripen without going bad on the vine. It's like I'll walk through and say, okay, they're getting close, and then I will wait like a day or two and they'll be rotten on the vine. I don't know what's going on with these tomatoes. So I did find one though. I mean, those of us who have grown a lot of tomatoes have all probably grown this tomato at one time. It smells really good. Let's see. It's definitely not sweet. Really good tomato flavor. Really good acidity. Not sweet. It has a really good flavor. It's not sour, but it's got that kind of a little bit of a not sweet, but not like puckery sour, just a little sour taste to it. It's a good tomato. I don't know if I would grow them again. I've grown them in the past. I should look back on my taste test and see what I thought about them. So I'm gonna pick any of them that have any color on them. They're all cracking. They all look terrible. That plant is probably out of here after today. The next one is called Bonnie's Original. Bonnie Original. Our favorite tomato. It's an indeterminate. So yeah. It's obviously not an heirloom, because you get a lot of like perfect tomatoes. And they're not cracking, whether the last one was cracking. So yeah, good sized tomato. See how they taste. Smells sweeter than the last one. That one is sour. It had fallen off the plant, so I thought it was good. I actually cheated and tasted this one already. It was a very good tomato. That one's sour. Not very acidic. Really good tomato flavor. It's sweeter when it's ripe. Although if it falls off the vine, it should be ripe. I don't know. So that one, actually I would grow that one again, because the tomatoes I've been getting off that plant have been very good. It was a very early tomato. Does it say on here how many days? It just says indeterminate. Maturity, 75 days. So it was one of the early big tomatoes. The first one that was ripe was that god-awful pear tomato. The second one that was ripe was Juliet, and the third one that was ripe was the little Sweet 100s, and then this Bonnie one. And so if you want an earlier tomato, that might be a good choice. I got that one from Home Depot as well. All right, let me find another one. This is like an Easter egg hunt. This is Celebrity Plus. This plant is just loaded. There. Okay, it says big, flavorful 8-ounce tomatoes on vigorous, healthy plants. Harvest in 75 days. These were behind the Bonnie ones. So a few of them did crack. We got 2 inches of rain in a couple days, not too long ago. But for the most part, they're your typical hybrid perfect tomato. Got a little pointy end on them. You can't see that. Yep, can't see that. But they have a pointy end on them. Nice looking tomato. Very juicy. So nice meaty center. Pretty thick walls. Acidic. Very. Not sweet. Good tomato flavor. Very acidic. I want to try another one. Look at the inside of that one. Again, very acidic. A little more sweetness in that one, but not much. If you don't like a sweet tomato, you would like that one because it's got really good tomato flavor in it and abundant plants. What else do we have left? Okay, let's go. I didn't say so, but the last couple tomatoes, the skins were thin, but not real thin to make them all crack. So they weren't real bad. Next one, Jetstar. High yields of low acid, firm, flavorful 8-ounce fruit. 72 days. This is an F1. I grew this one last year. Of course, I didn't do a tomato taste test because it was a disaster of a year last year. I know a lot of people have been growing these tomatoes. So I wanted to see what they were like. Cheers. They are sweet. They are packed with tomato flavor. They are a little acidic. The skins aren't too chewy. They're a really, really nice tomato. Well-balanced tomato. You know, I now know what all the fuss is about. If they can grow in this garden under these conditions, they can grow probably anywhere, which is why they're so popular. A lot of tomatoes I've been getting off there. A lot. And these weren't, did I say how long? 72 days to maturity. These were some of the first in my tomato after the Bonnies. These ones were the next to get ripe in the garden. Very good, you know. You got a lot of tomatoes. And I would definitely grow those again. If I wanted just basic, really good tomato, I would grow those ones again. So the next one that I have, it's the last one. Couldn't read that, I know. Brandywine Red. I can't get these tomatoes to ripen. We had this problem, was it 2 years ago, I think, where the tomatoes just wouldn't ripen. But this is what I have. It looks like Mr. Stripey, doesn't it? And they look like they don't have enough water. I know they have enough water. So I'm gonna let this one ripen and see if I can get a red tomato out of this one. And if I can, I'll tack it on to the end of this video. But yeah, I can't get one to ripen. They all rot on the vine. So I don't know what's going on there. So I thought I lost 2 tomato plants, but I can't find the tag for the other one. I did find this one, and it's Brandywine Pink. I had to pull it out. It was just sickly, and I didn't want it getting whatever it had on it, you know, to the other ones. But, you know, the other Brandywine isn't doing very well either, so I hope by don't have a Brandywine problem here. So I just ended up pulling those. I should have pulled the pear ones, the yellow pear, but I thought maybe they would get better, which they didn't. So that's gonna be it for this tomato test video. How did your tomatoes do this year? From what I've been talking to people down back in southeastern Wisconsin. I moved from zone 5 to zone 4, and their tomatoes are taking forever to ripen. Now, moving up a zone, we get a little more light, probably a half an hour more during the summer than in southeast Wisconsin. But other than that, these tomatoes did seem to ripen a little early. Tim kept saying to me, wow, I can't believe we have ripe tomatoes already. We didn't usually get ripe tomatoes until September. So I don't know when these tomatoes were started. But I think that having to buy tomatoes like this and really just like being at the mercy of the nurseries and, you know, the garden centers, I think that it makes me appreciate starting my own tomatoes. It really does. It makes me appreciate that I know exactly what conditions they've been grown in, how they've been taken care of, how they've been, you know, transplanted and up-potted and all that stuff to really make a much healthier plant and therefore a better producing plant. So next year, I really hope I can get all my own tomatoes started. That's going to wrap up this year's tomato taste test video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And let me know what your favorite tomato was to grow in your garden this year. And also, if you want, give me some suggestions for growing some tomatoes since I'm starting fresh next year. What was my favorite tomato? Probably the Rutgers was my favorite tomato. Surprise, surprise. So I think that was a really good one. This Jetstar was very good. And Celebrity Plus wasn't terrible. It was a good tomato. I like a sweeter, a little more acidic tomato. But yeah, the Rutgers really were good ones for me this year. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye-bye.